He comes from a lineage of great sages, yogis, and saints from India. He began his spiritual journey at the age of 7 and was fully realized by the age of 14. During this time, he delved into different practices and acquired mastery over Tantra, Mantra, Yantra, Aghori practices, and Yaksha sadhana. He was a siddha, and many masters, saints, and sages used to visit him in solitude to gain wisdom and guidance from him since the tender age. Although he has been helping humanity since childhood, he never disclosed this part of him to the world, and only the advanced yogis and masters were aware of his divine presence. Only in the last 2 years he chose few people from the world and started guiding them in their spiritual paths, and those who have been closely associated with him have witnessed many miracles in his presence. Despite being a family person, he is a yogi and intends to help people entangled in this world achieve Jivan Mukti, liberation while being alive. He is truly in the world but not of the world, and if you really want to understand him, look him beyond his physical appearance and just sit with him, and you will never be the same again. In his presence you will transcend your body and mind and experience the state of Sat, absolute truth, Chit, pure consciousness, Ananda, eternal bliss. Let us fold our hands in front of his divinity and with a heart filled with gratitude and love welcome our spiritual guru, the realized soul, and our enlightened master, Guru Meenakshi Mishra.
Shivam Shivakaram Shantam Shivatmanam Shivottamam Shivamarga Pranitartham Pranamami Sadashivam Pranamami Sadashivam Pranamami Sadashivam. Om Har Har Mahadev. Aham Brahmasmi. So good morning everyone. So here you are, and today we are going to start with the second phase of our preparation for the Mahashivratri. So I believe like the first phase is going on well with you. So today we are going to add some process as well as one more mantra to that, which is going to be a powerful way of preparing yourself for the Mahashivratri. But before that, the mind and the body should be prepared to even take and understand what it is and what that process is going to be. What do you think? What keeps you away from the divine? What is that one thing that keeps you away from the divine? What is that keeps you in the world? What is that moves you around? What is that when it says you sit for meditation, it says you have some other thing to do? And what is that even in the deepest space, when you are able to sit and do the process, it says, you didn't do it right. What is that? And you will come to realize that we can call it Maya, or we can call it the mind that works in that space. So today, in the second phase of it, when we are going to talk about the RAUDRA-SHIVA and the KSHETRAPＡLA STAPANA. So this time we are not going to invite Shiva as an authority, but a super authority which is beyond our mind. And it is not calling Shiva in the space of comfort that we generally invoke Shiva for. And that's why this process itself is known as the RAUDRA-SHIVA, not just the Shiva that you see who sits quietly and smiles at everything that you say. But this is another way of cutting down on the mind, cutting down on the queries that keeps you busy in your life. And especially when you get lost in these thoughts, what to do, what not to do, and you become overprotective also. This is where it is going to cut down on so many things. And I think that's the work that we are going to do today. Again, might be we bring in some aspect of Shiva that might look alienated to you, or not alienated, I can say, but rather that you don't want to see him in that way, might be. Because the mind says it should always be good. And then, but when we are talking about RAUDRA-SHIVA, it knows discipline. So when we bring this thing of aspect into play, then another space appears, especially that deals with the things when we become overprotective of our own selves, overprotective of the things around us, or overprotectiveness. And at times, you feel like when a question is asked or a issue is presented, it does not answer at times. Why it does not answer? What could be the reason? What could be the space why it was not done? And at times it feels like nothing is moving. Why is it so? So here you will get to know another aspect of Shiva where he does not speak. He does not sit and entertains you. He does not helps you and says that, okay, this is what I'm going to do. No, it does not even reply to what you said. And that's the space I'm speaking of today. And that's the space of the RAUDRA-SHIVA. So if you are ready to accept that aspect of Shiva, this is for you. Or else you can just either understand what this is all about and grow out of that phase, or you stay there in the space of the world where you have worries and comforts. So when we are talking about RAUDRA-SHIVA, there is a saying in the Kamika Agama, that is Shaiva Siddhanta Agama jo kehte hain. In that, it is said that Adharo hi Shiva Prakta, na tu Raksha Kavachatah. It is said that Shiva is spoken of as the foundation, the Adhara, and not something that you wear on yourself as a protective armor. Despite we are doing the KSHETRAPΑLA STHAPANA, it is not going to be like a armor that you wear. Because many of the seekers want Shiva as a comfort, but very few are ready for Shiva as an authority. You have seen the one aspect of Shiva, but are you ready for the authoritative part of Shiva today? Might be this is something that you will really learn today throughout this session. It's going to be a way how we walk through this, know its tattva, see where we have faltered, how we have to come out of that, and at the same time we will do a sthapana in the process, and a simple mantra that will invoke that RAUDRA-SHIVA within us. So shall I continue? Are you ready for that part of Shiva? Then we will start with Advaita then, because that's where that Advaita directly hits us, where we tumble upon. So in Advaita, the greatest bondage is not suffering, it is control. The subtle insistence that we have that I must manage my life. मेरा जीवन को मैं चलाऊंगा, मेरे हाथ से ये नहीं हुआ, मेरे हाथ से ये हुआ, I did this, I did that. And then the Upanishads also are ruthless about this, and they clearly say, they don't just say that you should control better, they say you were never the controller itself. The illusion of control is born from fear, and fear is born from misidentification. Misidentification that I am this body, I am the controller of this body, I am in this world, and this world belongs to me. Then the agamas also come into play, and they call this misidentification as the raksha bhava, living in a constant self protection. A life lived in protection finds it difficult to even achieve Shiva. Because Shiva is not a shield that you hold, Shiva is the ground on which you stand, and you forget that. Then if you go back to our Svetaswara Upanishad, there it is said, Eko Deva Sarva Bhuteshu Gudah, Sarva Vyapi Sarva Bhutantaratma, Karma Adaksha Sarva Bhuta Adhivasha, Shakshi Cheta Kevala Nirgunascha. And that what it says is there is one divine reality hidden in all beings. He is all pervading. He is the inner self of all. He presides over the actions, abides in all beings. He is the witness, the conscious knower, one without the second, beyond all qualities. There is only one. There is only one divine reality, hidden in all beings. Yet what do we think? What do we feel? What do we see? Because here, this particular shloka, it did not describe Shiva as a protector outside of you. It reveals Shiva as the one who is the Sarva Bhutantaratma, the inner self of all beings, the Sarva Vyapi, the all pervading, and the Adi Vasha, the one whom all beings dwell in, जिसके अंदर सारे जीवित या तो पूरा रचना जिसके अंदर रहती है. And this is where we start this process today. Because remember this, when you call upon for a protection, always remember it is not a shield that you call as Shiva, because it is, the protection is not coming from outside. Protection happens because nothing exists outside of him. Think of it again. You think protection should come from outside, but there is nothing outside of him. So where will you get the protection from? Where will you find him? What are you waiting for? So when I say a life lived in protection finds it difficult to achieve Shiva, I say so because Shiva is not to be held in your hands. Always remember where you are standing, that itself is Shiva. You do not hold Shiva for safety. You exist within Shiva. Seeking protection assumes separation, because Shiva is the Adhivasa. who is already always there with you. Shiva is the Adhara, from where you have come from. Shiva is the Antaratma. The one who is even seeking is Shiva. So, how come it can seek? How come it can find? Who will protect it? From whom? So, this is where you we do a deeper diving into that space where we come to see the another phase of Shiva come and dance in front of us, saying that you have been keeping me separately away from you. But didn't you realize you were never separate from this space itself? And there is one more from the Kena Upanishad that says, Yad vacha anabhudityam yen vag advyudhyate tad evam brahmatvam vidhi nidam yad idam upasate. It says that which speech cannot reveal, but which is speech, because of whom the speech is revealed. Know that alone is Brahman, not this which people just worship as an object. ब्रह्म वो है जिसको आप व्याख्या नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन जिसके कारण व्याख्या हो सकती है वो ब्रह्म है, और वो एक ही ब्रह्म है, ना कि वो जिसे आप सिर्फ एक मूर्ति की तरह पूजा करते हो. So here today what we are talking about, not to just worship Shiva as the physical form that you look at, but awakening that tattva within you which is ever existing, always here now. So that means, are you ready to again cut down on that part of yours which says that I am the doer or I need a protection, to experiencing the Shiva himself not as a physical entity, but as something that is ever present in every aspect of life? So if that is a yes from within you, I continue. In the Agamas, there is a truth which is like a sword that cuts it down. It says like before Shiva becomes your refuge, he becomes your ruler. आप उसके शरणागति जाने से पहले वो आपके ऊपर अपना आधिपत्य स्थापित कर देता है. Are you ready for that? And then when we say that, what happens after that? He says, Shiva does not become the ruler of your actions. It becomes the ruler of your false thoughts. And it tries to cut it down into pieces one by one by bringing the truth into your life. And there is a reason why Shiva is called as Raudra. Raudra does not just means angry. It means that which dissolves all the negotiations that you do in your mind. Because where Rudra stands, bargaining ends, fear ends, and strategies of the mind also end. The ego has no language in front of Raudra. आप जितने व्यापार करते हो ना माइंड में, वो सब छूट जाएंगे उसके सामने. वो होता है ना कि I will do this if you do that. It is not there in a bargaining state. If you say, I will do 109 times jap, 1010 times jap, he says there is no negotiation in that. There is no business going on here. Because for him, it sees it as it is again a play of the mind. Has it ever occurred to you that even when doing the jap, and if you have done a certain level, is it creating an ego within you? कि मैंने इतना जाप किया? If that does not come, you are in a safe space. Because if that becomes an ego, that is where you have actually burnt your own house, what you created with so much of care. It's just like that. And where this Raudra-SHIVA appears, he does not allow this ego to even come, because he will devour even the entire thing that you have been thinking you are doing it. Will not even wait for that. Okay. So this is where the ego cannot speak in front of him. Then, especially in the Vigyan Bhairava Tantra. In the Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, there is one dharana. That is the 101 dharana in that. It specifically speaks and repeatedly emphasizes that fear that lives within you, it contracts the prana. आपका जो डर है वो आपकी प्राण शक्ति को संकुचित कर देता है. It contracts your prana, and a contracted prana cannot dissolve into the Bhairava. एक संकुचित प्राण उसके साथ जुड़ नहीं सकता. So what you should do then? Then you should prepare yourself. You should allow your prana to expand. You should allow yourself to be so boundless that it merges simply into the divinity. Just like the example, if you put water in the plastic bottle and throw it into the river, it will still float in the river, but that water will never mix with the river. It's just like that. So वो संकुचित हो चुका है. It has been contained into one thing, and that's why it is not able to become what it was. So उसी तरीके से जब आप अपने आप को एक शरीर में भी बांध लेते हो, एक बुद्धि में बांध लेते हो, एक तर्क से बांध लेते हो, that is where it will not even allow you to mix with the divinity. So that's why I said it is a little tougher Shiva today. Not the one who says, however you are mine. He says, no. At times you have to realize that without tapas, you cannot reach out to those spaces as well. But even in this space, if you think, he has not left you in that space also, because he is not somewhere else. He's saying, I am standing behind you and you are standing on me. And there you learn it. Who could do that? And that's where this space appears for us. So don't allow that prana to be constricted because of the fear. Because once you do that, you will lose the entire control of your own mind itself. So let me tell you from where this RAUDRA-SHIVA as the KSHETRAPＡLA actually began. So this comes from a old story from the Shiva Purana. Especially this is often shared quietly, not in a louder voice, because this talks so much about us, yet while reflecting it on the gods. It is only discussed among the serious seekers, and I believe you are serious today enough to hear this story, because it is not drama, but it is what it changes within you. How many of you, even in your sadhana, you have come to a space where you doubted what you did? I don't even ask this question, I think. It is not needed to even ask, because somehow or other we all go into that space. How I did this right, how I did that wrong. I don't say thinking that way is wrong, but at times we go into that loop, we fall into that trap. So when we go into that space, this is where it is not only you, even the devatas. In this story, it is said that the devatas also, there came a time when the devas, means the devatas like all the other devatas, despite all their strength, felt deeply insecure. Asuras were not just attacking them externally anymore. Doubt had entered the minds of the devatas. Their victories felt fragile because they were fearful that they will be attacked again. Their positions felt threatened. Even when they were safe, they felt unsafe. The inner trembling that was happening within them disturbed them more than any battle that they have already won. What do they do when that is happening, when the fear has entered? Of course, they walked towards and approached Mahadeva with a simple request. And they said, this time the devatas never asked for any weapon. They did not ask for any blessings. They said, only do one thing, protect us. The devas went to Shiva and said, just protect us. And you know what happened in that moment? Shiva did not respond. There was no assurance from him. There was no promise from him. There was no blessing from him. He just remained silent. No answer. He just sat there as is. And when he did not respond, when there was no reassurance from Shiva, when the Shiva was not promising anything and he was not giving any blessing, the devatas were confused, waiting but still confused. They had come with devotion, they have come with humility, they have come with desperation. Still, Shiva never replied. He just remained silent. Then something unexpected happened. Shiva did not move towards the devatas or the devas. He did not even look at them. They all came with all this requests, but Shiva even didn't look at them. Instead, he manifested as the KSHETRAPΑLA. He manifested as the KSHETRAPΑLA, as the guardian of all fields, and stood silently at the boundary of the cosmos. Not inside their realm, not beside them, at the edge of the fields, as if he is marking a limit. He did not raise a weapon. He did not chant a mantra. He did not speak a word. He simply stood there. At first, the devatas felt unsettled because they were not able to see what is happening. There was no visible act of protection. कुछ ऐसा दिखाई ही नहीं दे रहा था कि वो उनकी रक्षा करेगा. No assurance that danger had passed. Yet slowly, something strange began to happen within them as well. Their constant vigilance softened. तो जो हमेशा देखते रहते ना, कहीं से कुछ ना हो जाए, यहाँ से ये ना हो जाए, वहां से वो ना हो जाए, धीरे धीरे वो खत्म होने लगता है. Their need to watch their backs disappeared. अरे वहां से कोई नहीं आया, यहाँ से कोई नहीं आया. वो जो डर था वो धीरे धीरे चलने लगा. The tension that they had been carrying without even realizing began to dissolve into thin air. They were still in the same universe. The asuras still existed. The world had not changed. But the only thing that happened is the fear vanished. He did not speak. He just stood there. And the fear vanished. Only in the later part did the devas came to a understanding what happened. Shiva had not given protection. He had removed the need for protection. The fear that made them feel vulnerable was not caused by the asuras. It was caused by the absence of a guardian at the level of consciousness. The silent standing was the KSHETRAPALA. And that was the first instance of the KSHETRAPALA STAPANA. And in the agamic language, in the agamic space, Kshetra means a field. And everyone you call and everything you call your life is also a field. Your body is also a field where the sensations are arising and dissolving. Your mind is also a field where your thoughts appear and disappear. Your home, your work, your wealth, your relationships, all are fields where energy moves. Fear enters a field only when there is no guardian. Most humans, most of us, try to protect all these fields by building walls, building financial securities, creating like social approvals, control over outcomes, constant planning. We keep on doing all these things. But the Shiva Purana reveals a deeper truth. Fear does not leave because walls are built. Fear leaves when authority is established. So when we are talking about a Kshetrapala, Kshetrapala is not a protector who reacts. Kshetrapala is presence that prevents any kind of intrusion into your life. When Shiva stands as the guardian, just think of this. If Shiva stands as your guardian, nothing has to be fought by you because nothing will enter into your life because he will not allow it to. This is why Shiva did not come to the Devas with comfort, because comfort keeps the fear alive by acknowledging it. I assure you, nothing is going to happen. I assure you, nothing is going to happen. I will take care. What is this all about? It's like assuring, but you are not seeing that the fear is already existing again and again, and despite all the assurance that is given. But in this space, that is what is cut down. Because once you realize this part, we don't want to live in fear. We want to be in a space where there is no fear. Because in our stories, in our lives, it plays out silently every single day. Because when the fear arises, notice what immediately happens. क्योंकि कभी कभी आपके अंदर वो डर जाग जाता है. The moment it appears and you notice that fear is there within you, just do one thing. Just see, like, are you overthinking? Are you controlling? Are you preparing for the worst case scenarios? Because the mind will do all these things that it completely keeps on doing again and again. This is the mind trying to guard itself. वो अपने आप को स्वयं सुरक्षित करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, but does not have the power to guard, and that's why it feels powerless. In this moment, if Shiva is installed as the Kshetrapala, this effort collapses of the mind. Not because the danger will disappear, but because panic will lose the command over your mind. And this is what the Devas learnt. The Devas learned that the day that protection is not an action, it is a state. When Shiva holds the boundary, life moves freely within it. And that is why today we are going to do this KSHETRAPALA STHAPANA. That is why KSHETRAPALA STHAPANA is not just a ritual that you do. It is actually an existential process. It is the moment where you stop and Shiva holds the boundary for you. It is the moment you stop standing guard over your own life and allow the Mahadeva to stand there instead. And when that happens, and if that happens, something profound becomes clear. You were never unsafe. You were only unguarded. These realizations, when they appear, this is something you should be knowing, because in the tantric literature it is said, yatra bhayam tatra avidya, means wherever fear exists, ignorance is present, because in the presence of the ignorance itself, fear gets birth. Because you know that story, like in the darkness, if you are walking and suddenly you see something from the far, you don't even know what it is. But if you are, a fear is there within you, the first thing that will hit you is there is a ghost. There is a negative energy. But if there is no fear within you, you might see the same object as the divine light. I still remember one thing. It was again one of my childhood spaces where it was a, I still remember, let me just see what was doing there. Because it was an absolute, it was a very initial phase of my sadhana when I started. When I was introduced into these night rituals, one fine day, I was walking towards that ground where this process has to be done, and the only light source was a far off light bulb, electric bulb, that was there in the night. But do you remember, like in the olden days, how those lights were used to be? Like it was so dim light, right? What I was walking through, what I saw is I think like the light might have, the current might have gone, and the bulb also went off, and it's all darkness. And in that all darkness, what I see is, in a far off distance, there is something that is standing like a human being, and it is glowing. If it is an untrained mind, or if it has a fear within it, what would it see? An untrained mind will see, oh my God, I was walking into that space and now there is something, a negative energy which is there. What should I do? Should run away, right? At that very moment, I had a very typical thought which looks so childish yet so powerful. That very moment, I was standing there for a moment. I said, what could that be? I am thinking in the first instance, out of my ignorance, I am saying it might be a negative energy. But it can be other way around also. What if I miss the divine, thinking it to be a negative energy? In that moment, one thought came to my mind. I said, the birds stay in the same darkness in the night. They have never seen a ghost. They have never been fearful. And we, being a human, we are fearful of the darkness. I see so many animals live in the darkness, they never complain. And we are human. The moment the light is gone, we feel it is dark and we feel fearful. That was a thought of the child, might be at that moment. But that very moment I walked through. And it came to a space which is even difficult to define. I actually passed through it. And nothing happened. And then I realized that the ghost was never outside. It was always in the mind. Because my mind can create that ghost even in a light that was shining from a different space. And yes, there was an entity, but it was not a negative entity. I just passed through, that's it. But what does the mind do? It starts playing with it. Immediately it says only one thing. Because we operate out of that fear every single moment. And when we operate out of fear every single moment, everything that we see feels fearful. And that's where I realize that at times you have to trust. At times you have to pass through the light. Because a cat would have run through that space. And a human never does that. Who is more fearful? Who is more conscious? Who is more powerful here in this space? And I feel like, at times it is good to be like them. So you don't have that fear that a human has. Ab socho. Have you seen a dog ever worrying about its property? Have you ever seen a cat worrying about what it is going to have tomorrow? Have you heard of a bird who has a life insurance policy? Have you seen a cow shouting out, Moksh mile moksh? No, right? This is all the thing that we are doing. And at times our intelligence has become the block for us. Isn't it? So what should we do? Shall I act like them? No, I am not saying to act like them, but learn certain things from them. And that's why I say, when you feel like you don't have, when you feel like, okay, kya hone wala hai kal, what is going to happen? Do one thing. When you are worried like, आपका जीवन में क्या होगा? Do one thing, wake up in the morning, go out and sit in the open sky and just look at the birds. What is their motivation? Every morning they are waking up and singing. And every morning we are waking up and doing what? We are also singing. हम वही अपनी पुराने गाने गाते हैं. But they are happy. They are flying. We are crying. That's the difference, I believe. We have come out from that space. You know what? आप 84 लाख योनि क्रॉस कर गए. As per our scriptures, you have already passed those 84 lakh births. What is that one thing is still keeping you to be here in this world? That fear, that worry, that attachment. Isn't it? नहीं तो सोचो, वो सारे योनि को पार करते हुए जब यहाँ तक पहुंच ही चुके हो, तो अब तक आपको कौन बांध के रख रहा है? And you know what? The higher you go, the tougher the test. And now when it seems difficult for you, realize that that might be the final test. वो होता है ना कि जब क्लास टेस्ट होता है, so it might be they must be testing what they have taught one chapter or so. But when it is a half yearly test, they make sure like whatever you have learned in the halfway through, you have to pass that. But when the final day comes, he says whatever you have learned, everything will be put into test. So when you are here giving the test, ready for it. And now you are giving a test because you are already starting walking on this path. That itself shows that you are already giving the test. That means what will happen if this is the final test? What have to be given? Whatever you have learned across all these lifetimes, this is where you bring that up. And you know what is the fear? The fear is, I have traveled so much far across these lives. What if I lose it this time? But a realized soul will come to know that it was not accumulation. It was leaving that was difficult. Socho, if you are hanging, you remember the story that I used to tell in the 9-day program when one person was hanging onto the branch? No. So, like one person was there, so he never believed in God, and so he was just going through one day. It was night in the dark, and he fell down. slipped and he fell down. And when he fell down to the downside of a mountain, and he was hanging onto a branch. Somehow he caught hold of a branch and he was holding it tightly. It is night, dark, no one around. He's holding to the branch, and in that moment, he's thinking, what should I do? I'm going to die today. He has never believed in God till that time. And that day it says, पहले लोगों को बुलाता, he tries to call people, no one is around, nobody responds. Then he finally says, okay, let me try. So many people call God to help. Let me see if he helps. Then what did he say? God, are you there? Initially, there is no sound. But his hands are slipping from that branch. Again, he calls out, God, are you there? It might be in that moment there was a voice, a grave voice says, yes, I am. Okay. Then he is more fearful. He says, who is replying back to my voice now? But again, he said, out of when he is seeing that he is losing the control, he says, if you are there, can you help me? And it waits for some time and says, yes, I will help you. Okay, so please help me. And the voice says, leave your hands from the branch. वो जो पकड़ रखे उसे छोड़ दो. What did that person do? He said, this is surely God taking revenge on me, because throughout my life I have never believed in it. So now when I am calling for help, he's saying that whatever branch that I am hanging to, he's saying, leave that branch. What does he think? He wants me to kill? And he tries his level best, holds on to the branch, and somehow he was hanging around, and it is day. Slowly when the sunlight comes, and what he realizes is he was just 2 feet away from the ground, holding onto the branch throughout the night. How about us? We laughed at that person. How about you if you are just 2 feet away from your liberation, hanging onto a branch, not ready to leave it? क्या करोगे? So when it is saying to leave the hand, you have to leave it. नहीं नहीं मैंने छोड़ दिया तो क्या होगा? क्या होगा? जमीन पे आ जाओगे और क्या होगा? And that's how many of us, because did you realize what was happening there? He was calling out, but still fear was within it. And I said, when there is a fear, you cannot merge into it. क्यों जानते हो? क्योंकि उसके ऊपर भरोसा नहीं हो पाएगा. You will not be able to have that complete faith. And why you didn't have complete faith? Because it was dark. What is darkness? Ignorance. When did you realize that, oh, I was just 2 feet away from it? When the light came. जब ज्ञान आता है तब आपको क्लियर दिखाई देने लगता है कि हाउ क्लोज यू हैव अपीयर्ड, हाउ क्लोज यू हैव गॉन थ्रू, बट बिकॉज ऑफ योर इग्नोरेंस यू हैव बीन हैंगिंग अराउंड इट फॉर लॉन्ग. शायद मोक्ष आपको कब की मिल गया होता, but you hanged on to something where you believed, if I leave this, what if I don't get moksha? So might be a great reminder for all of us. Might be a great reminder that I should learn to even let it go. Because what it is said, yatra bhayam tatra avidya. Because of this avidya, bhaya remains within us. And here in this space that we are doing today, Shiva does not fight fear. He occupies the field so that fear has nowhere to stand. This is why inviting Shiva as the authority is terrifying to the ego. कभी कभी हम जब शिव के रौद्र रूप के बारे में बात करते हैं ना, कुछ लोग डर जाते हैं. Why they fear? Reason is very simple. They think that ego will be devastated in his presence, because the only thing that they have known might be is the ego. They have never known Shiva. So there is one particular line that I remember. It says like Raksha arambhe bhayam asti. Raksha arambhe bhayam asti means wherever you start thinking about protecting something, you will realize it is stemming from fear. Because without that fear, you would never even try to protect. But is it wrong? It is not wrong. But becoming the overprotectiveness and getting lost in that fear is something you should be very, very careful of. And that's where we are going to implement this in you. This Kshetrapala Sthapana is going to reverse this in your life. Because you will come to realize that you do not protect life. Life protects itself through him. And that's why this process today. I was thinking like, shall I bring this process or not? And then I realized if I don't bring that light into your life, you will be still hanging to the branch. As much as I say, leave it, leave it, leave it, you're not going to leave it anyways. Because your protective mechanism will keep you hanging. But close your eyes for a moment and imagine you are hanging on a branch. Hanging onto the branch in darkness. Because you have slided down a mountain. And your only refuge is that branch of the tree. You don't know what is beyond your feet. But because you have climbed a mountain, so you know like there must be a steep down. But if you fall, if you leave the branch, what will happen? Fear will not allow you to leave the branch. But if you believe in that divinity and it said that you leave the branch, you will find yourself in his hands. Either he will make you fly or he will bring the ground closer to you. Do you have that faith? Because bringing that faith is difficult. Doubting is easy. That's the work of the mind. That's the work of the ignorance. That's the work of the attachment. That is the work of this world. That's the work of Maya. Leave that branch. And you will feel so free of it. How do you feel leaving that branch? Even though you feel like falling, it does not feel like falling. It feels like flying. And even if you are falling, where are you falling? Because I said in the initial phase, it is not a protection from outside. It is all within. Because nothing is outside of him. So even though you are falling, where are you falling? And that's the space you should be. And that's where I said, Raksharambe bhayam asti. The moment you begin self-protection, you begin to be overprotective. Fear is already active within. And this Kshetrapala Sthapana is going to reverse it. And in the Tantra, this installation happens not just through belief, but through presence. Shiva is not invoked as a helper. He is installed as the Mahakala, the one before whom time, threat, and uncertainty will collapse. There is one simple line that I always love to speak, and I feel that way. Which can be said in this way, like Kala Sivasya Padar Raja. मतलब जो काल है वो शिव का पैर की धूली की तरह है. Kala Sivasya Padaraja. Time itself is the dust beneath Shiva's feet. If time has no authority, what threat can remain? And this is why RAUDRA-SHIVA is never gentle in description. He is showcased as ash smeared, skull garland might be, silent, and you will not find him reassuring. He just stands. And when I was creating, I'll tell you a very simple thing that might appear a little childish, but that's what I just recalled. Yesterday, when I was creating that poster was being created, I could not find a way to animate the video, which I use every time. Yesterday, I was not able to animate it. So a poster was posted. And now I realized that he is not animation. He just stands. And I could realize that's why the video could not be generated, I believe. Because it clearly says what it is and it proves what it is. So amazing his ways are, right? He will just stand there. He will not speak. He will be silent. But are you ready to stand even without assurance? Because he just stands. And in his standing, the nervous system learns somehow something new. It will come to know that there is nothing to be guarded. Fear always plans. जो डर है ना वो हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ प्लानिंग करता रहेगा और वो आपके अंदर वो that calmness will be stirred every moment. Because of that fear, you cannot sit quietly. You cannot sleep. You cannot take rest. And here, the RAUDRA-SHIVA does not come to calm you. He just stabilizes you. That stabilization in Advaita in action, that is true Advaita in action. Because Advaita says you are not the doer. But what does the Tantra say? Tantra says if you are not the doer, then stop behaving like one. The one who is doing all these things. Because when the false doer collapses, Shiva naturally assumes authority, not as an external god, but as an intelligence already running the existence itself. How many times you have seen like you just clear up a piece of land and if you don't sow any seed to that, after you leave it for a certain time, unwanted trees grow on its own automatically. वो अपने आप बढ़ जाते हैं, उसको कोई बीज की जरूरत नहीं होती, कोई खाद की जरूरत नहीं होती, किसी की देखभाल की जरूरत नहीं होती, वो अपने आप बढ़ जाता है. Yes or no? Similarly, when you leave all these things, this fear away, it grows within you automatically without even you trying. No, nature abhors vacuum. Shiva abhors a space that is not filled with fear. Abhors का मतलब क्या होता है? It automatically grows with it. It automatically takes up that space. So the day you learn that, you will not even have to fight, you not even have to find. It automatically happens within you, because that is a state of stabilization and absolute stabilization in action also. When you are driving a car, you see the car is moving. It's in action, but there is a stability also. And that's why it is able to move, right? So when you are in this life, when you are going through life, it should be just like that. You are moving, yet stable on the ground. So close your eyes for a moment. Just imagine the Shiva who is standing, not saying anything, just standing. Let me see if it has found a way to devour that vacuum. Because if the doer has collapsed within you, it will appear on its own. Remember, you can still keep your eyes closed. The Kshetrapala is not emotional. The sadhak feels its presence in their spine, in the back, in the gut. The sense of being exposed disappears, not because the walls are built, but because there is nothing outside anymore. There is a simple mantra that you will be given today. This mantra is not sweet, it is heavy, which you will be given on this day. It does not rise, it descends. It presses fear downward until it dissolves and disappears. And when this field is guarded, something astonishing will happen. Shiva no longer feels distant from you. He no longer feels invoked. He feels already present, watching without judgment. And that's why the Agamas say, or rather whisper, Shiva is not your protector. Shiva is the absence of the threat itself. And when we install this today, the sadhak, you will stop seeking safety. You will even stop seeking blessings. You will stop seeking reassurances, because life will begin to unfold without friction for you. Not because your challenges will disappear, but because the fear no longer will negotiate with your mind. This is RAUDRA-SHIVA. This is the KSHETRAPＡLA STAPANA. Not a comfort for you, but a command. Are you ready for the KSHETRAPALA STAPANA? You can sip in water if you want to. अगर पानी पीना है तो पी लो. If you want to stretch yourself a little bit, do that, because after that it is going to take at least some time. Mhm. Once you are ready, just type yes so that I can proceed. Okay, good. For now, wherever you are sitting, just sit that way. But if possible, sit facing towards the north, if possible. If you are facing east also, no problem. If you can face north, try that out. अगर possible है तो. Again, if possible, try to keep your camera on. Keep your spine erect and the body completely still. Let the space around you become simple, very minimal things, not required anything in this space. So don't worry. There is nothing to worry. That's why if it is possible to on, it's okay. If not, just go through this process. So when you do this process from tomorrow, you have to face the north side. There is no requirement of anything but just one diya that you might have already ignited. If that is burning, that is good enough. You don't need anything apart from that. Because he always believes in that minimal way of doing it. Because Mahakala is not approached with decoration. He is approached with clarity. And if you have a clarity that you are going to do this KSHETRAPALA STHAPANA for the Shivratri and you want to experience that in that way, that clarity is there, sit for this sadhana. So the first thing that you will do after sitting is you will close the eyes and first withdraw attention from the external world. बाह्य जगत से अंतःकरण की तरफ ध्यान. From the outer world towards the inner self. Let your breath become natural. अभी भी आप आंख बंद करके बैठ के ये कर सकते हो because this is how you have to learn. Just go through it. Do it along with me so that I do the first process for you. From tomorrow on, might be a small little write-up or a example will be provided or a detailed audio will be provided so that you can do it on your own. When your eyes are closed, minimal things around you, focus on your breath. Breath should be normal. Don't change anything about it. And now, do not change anything in your body. As you are sitting, sit in the same way. Don't move your hands. If you have kept it in a certain way, keep it as is for now. Feel the weight of the body. Feel the gravity of existence itself. Get aware of your body. Get aware of the weight. Before invocation, recognize one truth silently. Time moves everything except that which watches the time. This recognition is the threshold of Mahakala. Now we will begin with the Avahana or the invocation. In this space, the invocation that we are doing, it is not as a call to an external deity, but as a withdrawal from the resistance to the ever-present one that is already there within you. And we have been resisting it for a long time. Now bring both your hands in front of your heart as if you want to pour something. दोनों हाथ को जोड़ दो, मानो जैसे आप कुछ अर्घ्य देना चाहते हो. Just like you pour water to sun, you do that mudra, the Anjali mudra. Now, within yourself, look at it. Keep your hand just like that, and now go and check what all fear are there within you. You can feel the subtle fear that time has created in your life. The fear of loss, the fear of delay, the fear of death, the fear of incompletion, any fear that you have within yourself. Just think of it. What are all your fears? And here, do not suppress it. Just allow it the way it is. There is nothing to be suppressed about your fear. Just let it be seen. You just watch about the fear. Just become the seer of that fear. Take your time. And now, slowly and deliberately, with a intone inwardly, मतलब आपके अंदर वो आवाज गूंजनी चाहिए. सिर्फ एक बार, while your hands in that way and you are thinking of your all fears that you have, just chant Om Mahakalaya Namaha only once. There is no need to chant it repeatedly. Only once with weight, only once with courage, only once with complete surrenderness. And once you have said Om Mahakalaya Namaha, just allow this sound to sink within you. Because in the Agama, Avahana is not summoning, it is permission. And here you are permitting Mahakala to occupy the field you have vacated by clearing up all the fears. Now we will move to the next step of it, which is the Sthapana, the installation. Now lower your hands and place the right palm gently behind your heart. It might sound a little weird. How can you put your hand behind the heart? So for a moment, you can open your eyes to see how to do that. It is nothing else but take your right hand, take it and put it behind the shoulder blades. जहां तक पहुंच पाए वहां तक. That's the right hand movement. The left hand goes and covers the navel point. Okay. So this is the process. You keep the right hand like this and the left hand is covering the navel point. Now close your eyes again. Hold it there for some time. Close your eyes. When you do this, this actually aligns time and survival, memory and instinct. In this moment, when you are in this particular posture, you are silent, quiet. Visualize without any imagination. Do not put any color to your imagination, but rather just sense a immovable presence standing behind you. Experience there is someone standing by you, standing behind you. Because Mahakala is never seen approaching, he is always already there. And now you will chant a mantra 3 times with weight in your voice. Pause between each repetition. The mantra you will chant now in this posture is Om Hreem Mahakalaya Namaha. Om Hreem Mahakalaya Namaha. Om Hreem Mahakalaya Namaha. With each chant, feel the spine becoming firm, the back protected, the compulsion to anticipate dissolving. This is Sthapana, the moment when fear-based self-guarding is replaced by the cosmic guardianship. Slowly, very slowly, remove your hand from the back and the navel point and keep it on your knees. आपके पैरों के ऊपर हाथ रख ले. And this time the hand should be facing down. The palm should be facing down. That means you should be touching the knees with your hands. आप अपना हाथ दोनों घुटनों के ऊपर स्थिरता के साथ रख दिए. Palm should be facing downwards. Now we enter to the third phase of it, the Vidhi. This is the method of alignment. So for now, just let both hands rest on your thighs and the knees, palms facing down. This process will seal the energy downward, anchoring it in the body. And now, while sitting in this posture, make sure your spine is erect and straight in the natural way. And now you will just chant Om Hreem. Om Hreem. So make it in a simple, slow loop and chant it for some time until I say to stop. You can simply start like this. Om Hreem. 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 Keep chanting it for some more time. And you will notice as you are chanting, you are actually feels like you are diving deep into that. Om Hreem. Let yourself completely lose yourself into that chant. Om Hreem. Leave the identification with the body and the mind. Om Hreem. Om Hreem. Om Hreem. Om Hreem. Om Hreem. Now add Om Hreem Namah Shivaya. Om Hreem Namah Shivaya. Om Hreem Namah Shivaya. Om Hrim 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 Namah Shivaya. Keep chanting. Completely lose your own self, your mind, your body completely into it, and the only thing that should be remaining is that chanting. Keep chanting. At this time, you are chanting not to please, not to invoke grace, but to let the Mahakala's law overwrite your personal rhythm. Because Vidhi is obedience to vibration, not to instruction. Keep chanting. Allow the mantra to press downward through the chest towards the navel point. मानो जैसे ये मंत्र आपके हृदय से लेके नाभि तक गमन कर रहा है. It is moving towards your belly. And once this mantra has reached to the navel point, keep chanting up until it reaches to the pelvic floor. While chanting, you will feel like you are lost. While chanting, you might feel that your breath is disappearing or becoming very, very small. That is not to be worried about. That is part of it. If thoughts arise, do not correct them, because Mahakala is not disturbed by the thought. Thought is disturbed by him. Then we move to the next phase, because as the mantra is settling down, let us do a mudra, the gesture of authority. Now, this is going to be quite different from all the other things that you have ever done. Take your right hand and create the Abhaya Mudra as if you are blessing something. The left hand should always be there on the left knee. Only the right hand comes as a Abhaya Mudra. Keep your fingers relaxed. Be in that posture. Your fingers are relaxed while the left hand remains on the thigh. Because this is not reassurance, this is declaration. It declares that fear has no jurisdiction here. Hold this mudra for few breaths while internally you are affirming without words that time has no longer command over you. Time cannot command you. And that's why in the Agamas this mudra is said to reverse the direction of fear from inward contraction to outward dissolution. Now bring your right hand back to your knees. हाथ नीचे फिर घुटनों के ऊपर रख ले. Keep it on your thighs, on your knees. Now we will perform the nyasa with complete awareness. Touch lightly the crown of the head. सर के ऊपर हाथ को थोड़ा रख के उसे दबाएं. With your fingers might be a little bit press. While listening to the sound of Om, keep it there and still continue to hear the voice Om. 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 Now do one thing, bring the hand and touch your throat. And now you only chant Reem. 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 Continue for a moment. Now take the hand and put it on your heart and says Namah, 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 Namah. And now take the hand and touch the navel point and vibrate the word Shiva, 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 Shiva. And now finally touch the space between your eyebrows. आग्ना चक्र के पास अपना हाथ रखें and silently vibrate the word, but rather than a word you just feel it as if you are recognizing, and there you chant Mahakala, 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 Mahakala. Now bring your hand down and keep it on your knees again. This is one nyasa through which we actually put across that in different aspects of your body, because it is across intelligence, it is across expression, it is beyond identity. It's not about survival, but it is about knowing the perception of time. You might have seen, like while doing this simple chanting, the body becomes like a calibrated field of energy rather than just a vulnerable organism. You must be feeling there is an absolute alignment within yourself where your body has become lighter and you are absolutely feeling as if something has moved away from your body. That heaviness is no more there. And now, after the nyasa, you are sitting completely still. This is one more important aspect or a phase which people generally ignore it. Now, do not chant anything. Do not even visualize, but let Mahakala work. Some of you might feel heaviness, some of you can experience lightness. You experience the silence, you experience the authority or the emotional neutrality. Whichever way, you don't have to interfere. Whatever way it has to work, let it work. Because some experience a sense of being watched. कुछ लोगों को ऐसे लगेगा कि कोई कहीं खड़े होकर मुझे देख रहा है. Somebody is watching. Not personally, but from a cosmic standpoint. And even if you feel that way, that is fine. Because his presence is not just comfortable, it is final. It will not negotiate with the nervous system. It just reorganizes it. And now, to complete this before we move to the final stage, perform a samhara seal, the closing integration. Bring both your palms together at the heart again. आपके हृदय को दोनों हाथों से कवर कर लो with the left hand down and the right hand above that. Within yourself for only once, clearly, without any emotion attached. Just say this: I realize my claim over time. And now only once you will chant this. Mahakala aham asmi. You don't have to repeat it. Let that echo within you into silence. And now you will realize this is not a declaration of ego, it is the collapse of the one who was afraid of time. Here you can remain seated for moments, for few more moments when you are doing the process. Okay. You do not need to rush back to any activity. And the most typical thing that you find in tantric tradition is Mahakala is not thanked. उसे आप कोई कृतज्ञता नहीं देते. He is acknowledged by your silence, and your silence is its way of showing your thankfulness. And when you come out of that, you have to rise. You should rise slowly. Then, after that, slowly go into your actions after the ritual. Try to do minimal work for the some time, and after that, you can go back to your regular activity. And then, with this, I can say this invocation is complete for you now, because this is not a ritual that you will perform, but you will do it as an authority where you submit your entirety. Now you can open your eyes. Again, if you want to sip water or stretch your body a little bit, do that. How does your feel? How do you feel the body now? Feels completely refreshed, right? Something just somehow somebody has pushed the reset button. Yeah, that's where I say it will not take care of your problem, it will dissolve the problems. Don't you feel like you have energy to run now? That's what it is. But there is one more thing I have to complete, or rather, there are two more things to be done. So, wherever you are sitting, sit firmly, keep the spine erect but not stiff. Okay. Now also your hand should be down on your knees. ऐसे नीचे की तरफ हाथ रहेंगे आपके घुटनों के ऊपर, like keep it there. Just so that the energy that is flowing, it should be grounded. Okay. Now again close your eyes gently, because now I'm going to give you the simple mantra that you will add to that, or rather you have already done that, but just to reinstall that mantra into you, we'll do it again. And now before you begin the mantra, just become aware of one thing very clearly. You don't have any instability within you. And now bring your attention to your navel point and lower spine, because this is where fear, the survival instinct, and restlessness stay. Take one slow breath in and exhale fully. एक गहरी सांस और धीरे से उसे छोड़ दें. And then begin this mantra. Not loudly outside, but neither softly, but with a weight, and that mantra should be grave and should go within you, not as a outside chanting. And as of now, we will just do it for 11 times. However, in your practice, you will do it for 111 times. So, Om Hreem Namah Shivaya. Om Hreem Namah Shivaya. Om Hreem Namah Shivaya. Om Hrim 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 Namah Shivaya. So you have to chant it as slowly as possible, and each repetition that you will do, it should feel as if it is a completion of a mantra, as if nothing existed before it and nothing exists after it. And then you will realize that the mantra will slowly descend within you rather than rising up. Do not let this mantra to just float in your head. Allow it to press down to your chest, your navel point, and your spine. It will happen automatically. Because Hrim is the fire that condenses energy inward. It does not expand outward, it condenses the energy inward. So let it do its own work. You can open your eyes, and as you will continue to do this job, some things that you will experience is some sensations might arise within you, like heat may build up in the spine or the chest or the head. You might feel slight sensation in the form of slight trembling kind of thing in your body. You might feel a little bit pressure on your third eye area, or even on the eyes itself, or even on the top of the crown. So whatever happens, it is not your work to analyze it. So do not analyze any of the signs that comes along with it. And do not even try to control it, because these are not disturbances. They are signs of Raudra reorganizing your entire unstable current flowing in your body. It's not your work. It is its work to do. The only thing that you have to do is you stay steady, stillness in the midst of this complete things that is happening, because that is the intensity and that is the essence of Raudra. I'm sure like by this time when you do this process in this pattern, the thoughts will be taken care of. They will be automatically pulled away. And even if they appear as memory, doubt, fear, या planning, कुछ भी आ रहा है, do not fight with them. Let that mantra continue underneath them, like a current that goes underneath, right? वो thoughts को अपना काम करने दो, आप अपना मंत्र चलाओ. If the mind weakens, do not increase speed or volume. कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है, बिकॉज आपको ये मंत्र जैसे कहा गया है वैसे धीरे 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 करते चले जाओ. Because Raudra is not only about aggression, it's about unwavering presence. So, while chanting the mantra, keep the pace slow and constantly going on. That's what you have to do. Yeah, at some point, the mantra may feel as if it is chanting itself. You are no more chanting the mantra. Some of you might experience it. How? Let's say you are just sitting and you are experiencing that you are not even chanting the mantra, but that mantra is revolving within you now. That's also fine. Okay, so there is nothing to be worried about. Okay, sir, I am not chanting why this mantra is going on. It is the way it has to. Because when you will experience this, when the doer is no more there. जब कर्ता करे न कर सके, शिव करे सो होए, 14 भुवन 9 खंड में, शिव जैसा ना कोई. So this time in this process, what will happen is you are not chanting the mantra, you are just sitting there and the mantra is going on within you. Then आपको ये समझ में आएगा कि करता है ही नहीं. The doer is no more there. Yet it is happening on its own. जब आप नहीं कर रहे हो लेकिन फिर भी हो रहा है, so what do you realize? That is the point. You will come to a tipping point where you know that actually we are not doing anything. Everything is being done by some other hand which appears as you. वो आपकी तरह दृश्यमान अवश्य है, लेकिन आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे हो. And that is the beauty of this entire process. Okay. So there is another final thing that should be done, like which we have already processed as this. So I will give you the step by step process, might be in the writing, or so that you can do that, so that it is easier for you. So once everything is done, just sit silently for some time. थोड़ा समय लेके बैठो उसको, and just observe whether the mantra is still going on within you or not. वो आप अभी भी कर सकते हो. You can just sit and close your eyes and see if that current is still flowing as a small little flow of energy as the mantra goes on within you. And that is the entire essence of it. Did you realize even the RAUDRA-SHIVA cannot be angry? And that's where you just allow the body to relax completely, the nervous system to become absolutely stable. Your breath will automatically will dive deep into and slow. ये सब होगा. And in this moment, close your eyes for one last statement that you have to say. And then you say, Mahakala Mama Rakshaka. So here you don't have to chant it many times. You just have to say it once. And let it only appear once. Or maybe twice if you feel like, or might be thrice, not more than that. Only if you feel complete in that one chanting, it's fine. And after that, stop it completely. Because protection is not strengthened by repetition here. It is strengthened by the absence of doubt. So you will just sit quietly and calmly. It's like handing it over. Because when he stands behind you, fear has no authority to give instructions. Remain silent and allow it to arise. Do not seek reassurance. Do not seek sensation. Do not seek anything for this time. Because the deepest sign that you will realize is the complete but ordinary appearing great stillness that you find within yourself. And that's the simplest magic that you will experience in this process. सरल, स्थिर. Are you experiencing that stillness? That's the process. That's the installation. That's how you are going to do it. Although it took time for us for going through that, but when I give that in a phased manner, it is very easy. But because we have to install it in that way, so it took some more time for us. And now what you have to do, the previous mantra continues, right? But even doing that previous mantra, you do this process. So what happens? You create the ground now. Okay. Once the ground is created, now you are completely still. You are free from all the things that were running in your mind from the previous day or the previous night. You do this process, then the first process goes over it. जो पहला मंत्र जाप चल रहा है ना आपका, वो मंत्र जाप इसके बाद होगा. सो हम हमेशा क्या करते थे, जो पहला चलता था उसके बाद दूसरा आता. दिस चेंजेस द गेम बिकॉज शिवा इज स्टैंडिंग बीनीथ. वो हमने कहा ना, यू आर स्टैंडिंग ऑन इट. सो नाउ दिस गोज डाउन एंड दैट कम्स अबव इट. ये प्रोसेस पहले होगा, उसके बाद वो मंत्र चलेगा. और ये जो मंत्र, आज का जो मंत्र है, इसको सिर्फ और सिर्फ 111 बार करना है. यू डोंट हैव टू डू मोर देन दैट. लेकिन वाइल डूइंग इट, डोंट रश थ्रू. जैसे मैंने कहा ना कि स्टार्ट इट एज इफ देयर वाज नथिंग बिफोर दैट एंड एंड इट एज इफ देयर इज नथिंग बियॉन्ड इट. And even if you do just for 11 times, it is enough. Not even 111. If you can do it in the right way, that as if there was completely nothing before that, and you are starting it and you are completing it at once also, one time is enough. ये मंत्र का नियम नहीं है. ये मंत्र का सिर्फ और सिर्फ एक ही चीज आपको ध्यान रखना है. इफ यू डिड इट राइट इन द वन टाइम, it's good enough. There won't be requirement for the next. So what I will do is I will post the entire process step by step, and I will also mention like the previous step to be done after this so that you remember it. I'll post it so that all of you start processing this. Can you do this process? Process was so small, but the creation was bigger than that. Because up until you understand all those things, you would not reach this space. And now, once you have reached this, can easily go ahead with that. Meditation also of the first will go after this, because this becomes the base of everything. शायद आप लोगों को एक प्रक्रिया पता नहीं है, आपको पता भी नहीं होगा वो, because that's not what you generally do. एक काम होता है, like there is a process in which one kind of devata is sat on the main place. उसकी पूजा की जाती है, उसके बाद उस देवता को नीचे उतारा जाता है. It is brought down. Above that, somebody else is kept. Do you know where you see it most commonly? When Shiva is lying down and Kali is standing over her. So we invoke that energy first as Shiva, which becomes the base, and then we bring out it down, and then Kali is stand over it. उसके ऊपर खड़ा कर दिया जाता है. So that you don't need to go there anyways. आप ये कर लो, है ना? So now any questions? आभा जी, कोई question? Okay, please go ahead.
प्रणाम गुरुजी.
प्रणाम आभा जी.
गुरुजी, ये क्षेत्रपाल ही महाकाल हैं.
जी, अभी तो आप जाके आए हो बढ़िया अच्छे से.
हाँ, नहीं मैं इसलिए मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि जब हम नवचंडी कराते हैं ना, तो लास्ट में जब हवन संपूर्ण होता है,
जी
तो उनका बलि भाग प्रदान किया जाता है.
जी
वो क्षेत्रपाल का ही होता है बलि भाग, जो
बिल्कुल
प्रदान
क्षेत्रपाल
किया
का ही
जाता है।
होता है जी।
तो वो रास्ता बाहर जाके तिराहे या चौराहे, मतलब जहाँ 3
जहाँ
रास्ते
पे
या 4
रखा
रास्ते
जाता है,
हैं,
यस
वहां रखा जाता है।
जी।
तो वो बाहर क्यों दिया जाता है फिर? वही
देखो
महाकाल है, ये तो घर में भी नहीं रह सकते क्या? मतलब जिस तरीके से उनका
हाँ
भाग वहां बलि भाग प्रदान किया जाता है जो, और वो भी
जी जी
लास्ट में बसोर
जी
धारा से पहले,
जी।
तो वो वहां
तो
किया जाता है फिर। हाँ।
एब्सोल्युटली, तो
वो
ये क्यों
वो
किया
बाहर,
जाता है?
हाँ वो बाहर क्यों किया जाता है?
जी, वो क्षेत्र का पाल है, मीन्स नॉट ओनली इट विल टेक केयर ऑफ यू बट दैट एंटायर रीजन।
हाँ।
इसीलिए उसको, मैंने कहा ना कि जब उनको देवताओं ने पूछा जाके कि आप हमारी रक्षा करो या कुछ करो, वो कुछ नहीं बोले, वो जाके बाहर खड़े हो गए। ही स्टूड एट द बाउंड्री ऑफ इट। तो उसी को इंडिकेट करते हुए हम चौराहे पे जाते हैं, या 3 राह जो होता है बेसिकली चौराहा ही माना ही जाता है, बिकॉज वो कहते हैं कि चारों दिशाओं का जो क्षेत्र का पालन करता है उसे उस जगह पे भोजन दिया जाए, या तो उसको उस जगह पे उसका चंड दिया जाता है।
हम्म। हम्म।
तो इसलिए उसको गृह के बाहर दिया जाता है, सो दैट योर, हमारा एक सनातन धर्म में एक, बहुत ही अद्भुत चीज है आभाजी। आप कुछ भी करते हो अपने लिए नहीं करते, तो समग्र सृष्टि के लिए कर देते हो, आपके समग्र आसपास के लोगों के लिए करते हो, इसलिए बोले कि बाहर रहते कि भाई ये क्षेत्रपाल की जो साधना है, इस साधना से सबकी भलाई हो।
लेकिन प्रॉब्लम एक है ना गुरुजी, कि जो जानते हैं वो तो ठीक है, बट जो नहीं जानते हैं वो तो बहुत तरीके से सोचते हैं कि ये टुटका कर दिया, यहाँ ये कर दिया, वो कर
तो मैं वही कहता हूँ ना कि अज्ञानता, यही है ना, अज्ञानता ही भय है ना।
हम्म।
तो वो जो भय में है, तो अभी तो यू हैव टू सिंपली एक्सेप्ट दैट। अगर टोना
अब
टोटका करना है
हमारे
जिसको,
यहाँ
तो वो रात में ही ना कर ले सुबह तक का
हमारे यहाँ तो
इंतजार।
ये जो नवचंडी का हवन होता है गुरुजी, रात में ही किया जाता है।
जी,
तो वो 2 बजे तक खत्म होगा या 3 बजे तक खत्म होगा, तब जाके ये रखना
तो
पड़ता है
लेके
उधर।
जाके रख के आते बाहर
हाँ,
जाके
लेके जाके फिर हाथ पैर धो के अंदर आओ। तो मतलब ये मान्यता ऐसे क्यों दी गई, फिर रख के आओ बलि भाग प्रदान करके, फिर हाथ पैर धुलो बाहर ही, उसके
जी
बाद
जी
अंदर प्रवेश करो। ये
जी।
सब चीजें हमारे ही उसमें है ना सब। तो
उसका
अब कभी अभी तो नहीं हो पाएगा,
जी
लेकिन जब आपको टाइम मिले तो थोड़ा सा डिटेल में बताइएगा इसके
बिल्कुल
बारे में।
बिल्कुल, तो उसके लिए हम चंड भाग के ऊपर एक कथा कर सकते हैं कि वो चंड क्यों दिया जाता है, कैसे दिया जाता है, किस लिए दिया जाता है, क्यों बाहर रखा जाता है, वो सब। उसका उत्तर बहुत सिंपल है एक्चुअली आभाजी, मैं उसको एलाबोरेटली बता सकता हूँ। देखो, आप जब आते हो तो आप कहते हैं कि आने से पहले हाथ पैर धो के फिर घर के अंदर आना,
हम्म।
क्योंकि वो समय के परे है। समय के परे कौन चला जाता है मानते हैं जिसको? शरीर के परे जो चला गया वो समय के परे चला
समय
जाता है,
के
ये
परे
माना
चला।
जाता है। इसका मतलब किसी की मृत्यु हुई। अगर आप जाके किसी को उस जगह पे खाना दे के आते हो, मतलब यू आर ऑल्सो ट्रैवलिंग बियॉन्ड योर बॉडी एंड गिविंग समथिंग एज ए
हम्म।
चंड दे। तो मतलब माना जाता है कि आपकी एक स्तर पे मृत्यु हुई, या तो आप उसे छू के आए जो समय के परे है, मतलब मृत्यु के परे है। और हमारे यहाँ पे
काल
कहा जाता है कि मृत्यु हुआ तो लगता है, जो सोच लगता है उसके हिसाब
हाथ पैर,
से
हाँ।
तो प्रक्षालित करके घर के अंदर आने के लिए,
हाँ,
ये इट्स कंप्लीट विधि है उसका एक्चुअली। देखेंगे अगर किसी दिन हुआ तो पूरा बात करेंगे उसके ऊपर, अगर आप लोग जानना चाहते हो ये प्रक्रिया के बारे
जरूर गुरुजी, जरूर,
में जी।
अवश्य।
और
धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत
और
धन्यवाद,
आभा जी के
प्रणाम गुरुजी।
प्रणाम। और आभा
हाँ।
जी का जो एक्सपीरियंस रहा, हम बताएंगे या नहीं बताएंगे वो आभा जी बोल सकते हैं। क्या ये बताना है या नहीं बताना है आभा जी? नहीं, वो आपके ऊपर है, मुझे बस जब,
गुरुजी आप जाने, मैं तो आपसे हाँ और ना कुछ नहीं कह सकती।
तो अगर हम बताए तो चलेगा ना?
जी विश, जो
एज आई
आपकी
विश।
इच्छा, जो प्रभु
ओके,
की इच्छा।
जो प्रभु की इच्छा हो। नहीं, ये देखिए मैं कहता हूं ना कि जब ऐसे चीजें होती है ना, योर माइंड डज नॉट वर्क, समझ में नहीं आता मन को कि हो कैसे सकता है ना। ये ऐसा आपके साथ दोबारा हुआ है शायद, इससे पहले एक थाली सजी हुई मिली थी आपको, आपको याद है ना? इससे पहले वो पूरा भस्म और वो सारे चीजें रखी हुई थी एक बार। ओके, सो किलिंग दी अदर, दूसरे लोगों को समझ में नहीं आ रहा, मैं बोल लेता हूँ। सो अभी रिसेंटली आभा जी वेंट टू काशी। ओके, तो वो जब काशी गए तो उनके घर में जो कान्हा जी हैं, जो छोटे से हैं बालक, तो वो घर में रहे, तो ये काशी जा रहे थे। तो काशी जाने से पहले व्हेन शी वाज ट्रैवलिंग टू काशी, शी सेड दैट यू आर हियर एट होम, सो टेक केयर ऑफ योर ओन सेल्फ, ये अपना ध्यान रख लेना। और देखो आभा जी का क्या कमाल है, देखो कहते हैं कि तुम छोटे से हो, तुम यहाँ रहो, और भूख लगे तो ड्राई फ्रूट रखा है, खा लेना। और ड्राई फ्रूट जो है वो डब्बे के अंदर है, ठीक है, इट इज इन ए बॉक्स। और उनको कहते हैं कि देखो अगर डब्बा खोल ना पाओ तो हनुमान जी को बोल देना, वो खोल देंगे तुम्हारे लिए। तुम छोटे से हो, सो अगर ना खुल पाए तो उनसे मदद मांग लेना, वो खोल देंगे, तुम खा लेना। और ये कह के आभाजी चले जाते हैं काशी। सो वहां महाकाल दर्शन होता है पहले, फिर उसके बाद काशी विश्वनाथ के दर्शन अच्छे से हो जाते हैं, बड़ा प्रसन्न मन था। तो वापस आते हैं तो उनकी उनकी एक आदत है, वो घर में आते ही पहले भाग के जाते हैं उन्हें देखने के लिए वो कैसे हैं। इट्स लाइक यू लीव ए स्मॉल लिटिल बेबी एट होम, राइट? तो भाव है ना लोगों के। तो आभा जी जब भाग के जाके उनके कान्हा जी के पास पहुंचते हैं, क्या देखते हैं? डब्बा खुला हुआ है और ड्राई फ्रूट थोड़े बिखरे पड़े हैं, और उसमें से काजू गायब है। कोई डब्बा खोले तो कैसे बिखरेगा? थोड़ा अगर यू आर ट्राइंग टू ओपन ए बॉटल ना, अगर थोड़ा बिखर जाता है ना। ये देखने के बाद आप क्या करोगे? आभा जी पूछ रहे हैं आप सबसे। समझ में
ये
ये नहीं आया कि उसने खुद खोला है कि हनुमान जी ने खोला है अभी भी।
किसी ने भी खोला, खा लिए, बस काफी है।
बस है।
तुम पेट भर के रहना। मुझे तो बस ये रहता, तुम यहाँ बैठे हो तो अपना पेट भर के रहना, इतना सारा सामान लगा के जाते हैं, वो आप खा लेना।
बस, दिस इज व्हाट वी से एज, यू कैनॉट डिफाइन ऑल दिस थिंग्स विथ लॉजिक। ये सिर्फ हाथ उठा के कह सकते हो, "ओए राधे राधे"। सो आभा जी तो बस हाथ जोड़ लिए उनके सामने, बोले भाई तुम्हारी लीला तुम जानो, अपना ध्यान रख ली, यही बस है। सो यू कम आउट ऑफ दैट फियर ऑल्सो, दैट अगर इसको घर में छोड़ के जाए तो क्या क्या कुछ नहीं करेगा, अपना काम खुद कर लेगा। सो आई थिंक लाइक it is not only about the person who has experienced it. I think like all the people, those who hear it also connect with that so easily. So may that blessing be there with all of you. और मेरा ये आप लोगों के साथ साझा करना या आपको बताने का रीजन एक ही है, that may you also realize that this power that you experience, which is not power, I can say it is grace. May this grace also be there in your lives. सो आभा जी आज जाने के बाद हमारे तरफ से आपके कान्हा जी को धन्यवाद बोल दीजिएगा, हमारे सबके तरफ से।
बिल्कुल 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 गुरु जी, अवश्य। उनकी तो नजर है, वही तो सब देख रहे हैं, कर रहे हैं बैठ के, और यही प्रेरित कर रहे हैं ना आपको यहाँ बोलने के लिए। उन्होंने कहा है कि भाई बता दो, तो आपने
नहीं,
बता।
इसी से क्या होता है ना आभा जी, यू कम क्लोजर टू ऑल ऑफ दिस थिंग्स, कि सच में वो कितनी बात सुन लेता है, सच में कितनी बात मान लेता है, और कितने बार प्रूफ दे देता है। एंड उसको कुछ प्रूफ करने की जरूरत नहीं, ना ही मुझे उसकी कोई प्रूफ चाहिए, बट स्टिल वो दिखा देता है, देख तुमने कहा था तो मैंने मान लिया। यू लुक्ड एट मी एज ए स्मॉल लिटिल किड, सो आई विल बिकम दैट फॉर यू। सो हमारे सबके तरफ से धन्यवाद बोल ही दीजिएगा आभा जी।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल धन्यवाद है, आप सबको भी धन्यवाद है। इतना अ, क्या वर्ड नहीं है मेरे पास, वर्ड्स नहीं है कि इतना सारा अच्छा फैमिली हमको मिला है, कि एक एक चीज से, एक एक बात से प्यार बट मिल रहा है, बट रहा है। तो इन्हीं में से कहीं कान्हा जी की कोई प्रेरणा रही होगी, तभी तो मुझे यहाँ जोड़ा है सबके साथ। ये उनकी कृपा है, ये भोलेनाथ की कृपा है। अब गुरुजी, रिसेंटली अभी एक एक पिक नजर आई कि मैं जैसे कान्हा जी को बोल रही हूँ, तो मैं वृंदा वहां बरसा, सॉरी, काशी में तो बहुत सारे ऐसे चित्र नजर आते हैं। तो शंकर जी का एक बहुत बड़ा फोटो लगा हुआ था वॉल पे, और कान्हा जी इतने से उनकी गोद में बैठे थे। बहुत, त्रिशूल डमरू सब कुछ, जटाएं वगैरह, ऐसे बहुत बड़ा सा एक पूरी बॉल थी उसकी, और कान्हा जी ऐसे गोद में। मुझे देख के बहुत ज्यादा अच्छा लगा उसको। हमने कहा वाह, तुम साथ साथ हो, बस बहुत है।
दैट्स अनदर स्पेस, मतलब किस रूप में वो आपके साथ कैसे कनेक्ट कर जाए और आपको उसकी याद दिला दे। फॉर पीपल इट माइट जस्ट बी अ इमेज, बट फॉर यू इट्स लाइक इट्स प्रेजेंस।
सब मौन हो जाते हैं,
हम
कुछ नहीं
मौन हो
बचता।
जाते हैं बस। धन्यवाद आवाजी फॉर शेयरिंग
सब
दैट एंड अलाउइंग अस
सबको
टू।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है गुरु जी, आपको बहुत
यस।
धन्यवाद है। इस तरीके से आप लाइफ में आए हैं, तो चलते रहें, बस पकड़े रहना हाथ, बढ़ाते रहना, यही चाहिए और कुछ नहीं चाहिए।
चलते चलो।
ठीक है गुरु जी, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद है आप सबका। जी जी
चलिए,
जी, हरी भाई, यही बिल्कुल। सेम यही पिक्चर थी, इतना सुंदर थी ये।
मुझे तो ऐसा लग रहा है कि कान्हा जी बोल रहे हैं, शिव बांसुरी बजाना सीखोगे।
यही पिक थी, बहुत सुंदर थी।
थैंक यू एवरीवन फॉर।
थैंक यू गुरु जी, थैंक यू हरी भाई।
So, till we meet on Wednesday, most probably, I'll put the process. So, may this grace just flow through all of us. So, Hari bhai, okay, so is there a question? So, Deepika ji, did you posted something? Message was there, just a second. Oh no, I could not see the message. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, please raise your hand right now so we can help it. If not, yeah, okay, Deepika ji, please go ahead.
Pranam Mahadev.
Pranam.
Mahadev, you said we have to maintain the same time, right? Can we
Yes.
start this process like half an hour early or like 1 hour early? Is that okay for
You
this?
can,
Because,
because it is an additional process to that, you can actually.
yeah, because I can't extend beyond
Beyond that,
the
no
time that
problem,
I've been
no
doing
problem.
till
You
now.
can, you can.
Okay, thank you. उतना ही था Mahadev.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
सुधा जी।
प्रणाम गुरुदेव। अभी तक जो हम प्रोसेस कर रहे थे उसको हमें कुछ बंद कर देना है।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, इससे पहले वाला जो फर्स्ट
हाँ,
डे का,
जो
मतलब
एक
फर्स्ट।
माला करना था या कुछ करना था,
जी जी जी। नहीं
उसको
वो,
बंद कर देना।
नहीं नहीं, वो उसके साथ ही चलेगा।
क्योंकि मेरी तो वैसे ही मानसिक रूप से हो रही है, वैसे साफ करें
तो
या बस।
आराम से देखो, अभी आप कैसे भी आराम कर रहे हो।
हाँ,
मैं तो ऐसे कह रहा हूँ कि आराम कर रहे हो, तो
हाँ,
मानसिक रूप से चल रहा है तो चलने दो, और एक
उसी
समय।
के साथ ऐड कर लें उसको।
जी जी जी।
अच्छा गुरुदेव, जैसे अभी दीपिका ने पूछा, अगर हाफ एन आवर इधर उधर हो जाता है, मेरा तो कभी कभी उसमें भी थोड़ा टाइम इधर उधर हो जाता है, जो आपने बताया था एक पर्टिकुलर टाइम पे भी करनी है।
जी
तो उस प्रोसेस को करने के बाद ये वाली ऐड करनी है उसी के साथ।
जी। अगर टाइम इधर उधर हो रहा है तो एक चीज आपको
हम्म,
ध्यान रखना है कि
हम्म,
हमने आज जो प्रोसेस किया उसका कारण
हम्म,
यही था कि कोई भय ना रहे। तो अगर आगे पीछे समय हुआ तो भी, तो वो भय भी ना रहे। सो आराम
बिल्कुल।
से कर लो आप। ठीक है,
जैसे जैसे
समझ में आ
गुरुदेव
गया होगा आपको।
आ गया आ गया। जैसे कि अभी बाबा बता रहे थे ना
जी।
कान्हा जी का,
हम्म।
मेरे साथ तो जैसे मैं तो आश्रम में अपने मंदिर में जाती थी भोग लगाने, नहीं जा पाते हैं,
जी।
साक्षी लगा देती है, कोई भी लगा देती है। कल ऐसा था, कोई ऐसे घर में नहीं था जो भोग लगाए।
हम्म।
तो मैं बिस्तर पर बैठ के मैंने उसका, आज तुम सब लोग यहाँ आके खाना खा जाओ। और मुझे सचमुच में लगा, तो वहाँ आके बैठ गए कि हाँ तुम यही खा लेते हैं। शायद अपने भाव में आ जाते हैं। धन्यवाद। थैंक यू गुरुदेव, प्रणाम।
थैंक यू सुधा जी। सब वेट कर रहे हैं कि आप बिल्कुल सेट होके फिर तैयार होके कैमरा पे कब आओगे, सब वही वेट कर रहे हैं एक्चुअली।
जब आपका आशीर्वाद होगा, ऊपर वाली की दुआ होगी तो हो जाएगा।
आप तो, हमने सुना आप चलने लगे हो।
नहीं बेटे, 3 4 कदम 5 कदम उसने इतना अलाउड किया, चले ही नहीं जा सकता
वही
था।
बच्चे को जब वो 3 4 कदम चलना आता है उसी को चलना कहते हैं।
ठीक है, वो चलाएगा, जिसने बिस्तर पे डाला है वही चलाएगा। लेकिन ये क्वेश्चन अभी तक नहीं आता कि उसने डाला
यही
है।
होता है, जब लोग ज्यादा भागते हैं उनको थोड़ा बिठा दिया जाता है। हरि भाई को पूछो, बोलेंगे आपको।
हाँ, उन्होंने बताया था 3 3 महीने रहते थे। ठीक है, उसकी मर्जी है, अब तो ये समझ में आ गया, उसकी मर्जी है जो चाहे।
अब वो अगर हरि भाई नहीं बैठते वो टाइम पे तो ये सब शुरू ही नहीं होता था। तो क्या पता आपके बैठने से क्या शुरू होगा।
क्या होगा। लेकिन इतना सब होने के बाद कभी कभी इरिटेशन तो होता ही है कि कितने दिन हो गए, अभी तक ऐसे ही हो रहा है। चलो हो जाएगा। जैसे
चलिए फिर।
गुरु की मर्जी, हम तो कुछ कर ही नहीं सकते ना, वो
हम्म।
जाने।
हम्म।
तो प्रणाम।
प्रणाम सुधा जी। अलीवा जी।
प्रणाम महादेव।
प्रणाम।
महादेव, सो आज का जो प्रोसेस है, इंस्टॉलेशन भी और फिर मंत्र एंड देन द स्टेटमेंट, और जस्ट द मंत्र देन वी सिट इन।
नहीं, मैं पूरा स्टेप बता दूंगा, सो यू डोंट हैव टू
ओके।
लाइक थिंक ऑन दैट। ओके, तो मैं स्टेप बाय स्टेप बता दूंगा। सो आई विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम लाइक टुडेज क्या 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 करना है, उसके बाद how the first mantra that you were doing previously that has to be added, then the meditations had begun.
श्योर। एंड इन द स्टेप वन, जो जो कि इसके बाद आएगा, उसमें भी भूत शुद्धि, देन मंत्र, देन कालातीत।
Absolutely.
तो ओके,
अगर is it really taking that much time for you all?
दैट टेक्स 1 hour और
Okay,
15 minutes।
so do you want us to cut it down or you can manage?
नहीं नहीं, आई एम नॉट सेइंग एनी ऑफ दैट। we you have to manage whatever we have to do। I'm just asking for clarification, Mahadev, कि ये तीनों प्रोसेस है तो तीन।
Okay, so I'll relook it and merge it in such a way that things are taken care of. Okay, so I'll merge both this process in such a way that it is almost is done in the same time frame.
आपकी करुणा है महादेव।
So I'll just merge it into that space.
Do whatever you think is right, Mahadev। धन्यवाद।
It will do whatever is right. Okay, okay, Aliva ji.
धन्यवाद महादेव।
सुमा जी।
प्रणाम देव। प्रणाम देव। Am I
प्रणाम।
audible?
Yes, yes.
So these processes we started. So अभी ये सेकंड वाला शुरू हो जाएगा तो we have to start this before. So daily वो jobs हम कर रहे हैं, उसका तो टाइम शिफ्ट कर सकते हैं क्या देवा? Because daily we are
अदर
already
मंत्र
doing
यू
some
कैन,
set
या
of jobs.
जो
हाँ?
आपका रेगुलर मंत्र है उसका शिफ्ट कर सकते हो, नो प्रॉब्लम।
Okay, so first we have to finish this within the time and then we can do the
यू
other.
कैन, यू कैन।
Okay then, that's what is my question. Thank you.
Okay, so I believe with this we are done for this day. Over to you, Hari bhai. Har Har Mahadev.